Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. Need a vacation? Well, loosen that tie and get ready for baseball. The Montreal Expos work out of their slump. The Houston Astros make first a full-time occupation. The Red Sox slave at catching Baltimore. Pete Rose employs hard labor to make baseball history. The man who made work play enters the hall. And the Pittsburgh Pirates do a job on Philadelphia. Major League headlines and highlights coming up on This Week in Baseball. Brought to you by Gillette. When it comes to personal grooming, most people come to Gillette, makers of new improved Gillette Track 2. Micro-smooth edges make it a better shave.
Pa, are you sold out of my Gillette Track 2 blades again? Never happened when I ran the store.
These other twin blades will do.
Hogswoggle. Gillette Track 2's micro-smooth blades shave me better.
But these'll fit your Track 2 handle.
Handle schmandle. Gillette Track 2 shaves safer, smoother, and comfortable.
But, Pa...
Guess I buy my Track 2 blades someplace else.
To guys who use Gillette Track 2, no other blade will do.
They built this country out of dreams and steel, and every day you pour enough new steel for one more bridge, one more building, one more dream. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer. Miller Beer.
In the National League, signs of changing times are going up fast in Pittsburgh, where the Pirates had a great time dismantling the Philadelphia Phillies in a 5-game sweep, opening the door to a slight toehold on first place in the Eastern Division. Younger players may collapse in the dog days of August, but Willie Stargell only gets better with time. 22 homers, a .308 average. It seems like the Pirates always get stronger this time of year. Phil Garner got his average up around 300 with some hot hitting. Bucko batting is really contagious. Rookie catcher Steve Nicosia had a dream game against the Phils, going 4 for 4. You'd think that would earn a kid the right to finish the game. But with 2 out and the score tied in the bottom of the 9th, Chuck Tanner decided to pinch hit for Nicosia with John Milner. So it was a left-handed swinger against lefty reliever Tug McGraw. That's hardly playing the percentages, but just watch. It's going, and it is gone. A game-winning grand slam. Pittsburgh could do no wrong against the Phillies, who dropped 8 long games off the pace, while the Pirates lifted themselves on top, momentarily unseating their current rival of this season, the Montreal Expos, whose moon seemed to be waning in recent weeks. The Expos' once big lead was falling fast. When the Expos fell out of first for the first time in almost 2 months, it appeared their pennant dreams might be shattered. But they got back up and started kicking again, doing what they did best, aggressive base running. And solid defense. Larry Parrish at third. Rodney Scott at second. Gary Carter at the plate. And in right field, the great arm of Ellis Valentine. Veteran Rusty Staub has returned to the town where he enjoyed some of his happiest years, giving Montreal added experience and power for the rugged pennant days ahead. And young hitters like Warren Cromartie continue to weigh in with hits that spell Montreal victories. This is a fundamentally sound ball club that still believes it can handle the upcoming pressure and pull out Canada's first baseball title.
I believe that the Expos for this entire season have been playing excellent baseball. I really believe that if we play the same type of baseball in the second half as we've done in the first half, we've got a very good chance of winning the National League Eastern Division. The whole key will be if everybody is able to stay healthy.
Meanwhile, the Houston Astros continue to hold the fort in the Western Division. Getting back home under the dome, where the Astros have been practically invincible all year, helped reinforce a first-place lead that had been looking a bit shaky. Now, Houston fans are urging their team to tie up its first title ever. With all that speed on the bases, the Astros aren't about to sit still. A club record 7 steals in 1 game gave Houston the major league lead in stolen bases. As for the rest of the offense, Bill Burton seems to somehow get just enough. Men like rookie Jeff Leonard hitting in the 280s, nickel and dime their hits all around the park until finally the Astros cash in another win. Another example is Craig Reynolds, also near 280 and without a homer. But then the Astros have only 39 homers, the lowest total in the majors. Jose Cruz is the only regular hitting 300, and he's not exactly a fence buster. The Astros are next to last in runs scored, but still first in the West thanks to pitchers like James Rodney Richard. 15 strikeouts in 1 game, a major league leading total of 197. The Astros' 6-game winning streak gave them a 41-19 record at home and 66 wins for the season, the most in the National League. Obviously, they're doing something right in Houston. Now, it's time for this week's Volkswagen quiz. The Boston Red Sox recently brought up rookie pitcher Win Remerswall, who beat Milwaukee for his first Major League victory. His full name, the longest in the majors. Can you name the player with the shortest name? They're all shorter than Wilhelmus Abraham Remerswall.
What? Handling? That Scirocco is some sexy sports car. You people know how to live. A Volkswagen Scirocco. I'd have thought you'd have a Ferrari or Maserati.
I do.
Volkswagen does it again.
Who'll stop the Baltimore Orioles from running away in the American League East? Perhaps only the Orioles themselves can do that, and Earl Weaver's out to see that it doesn't happen. With baseball's best winning percentage, no one's about to give Baltimore any handouts, but the Birds have been lending each other a hand all season. One by one, the contenders lose ground. The Milwaukee Brewers felt ready to challenge Baltimore until the Orioles paid them a discouraging visit. Eddie Murray highlighted a three-game sweep with one of his specialty shots. A grand slam home run. Suddenly, the Brewers were 9.5 games out and falling. Stars like Murray did damage, but so did others like Rick Dempsey. It's been the Baltimore story all year. No matter what the stats, everybody seems to do what's needed. Timely homers have played a major part, but men like Al Bunbury are also there to occasionally steal a timely base. The most recent Baltimore hot spell saw the Birds win 15 of 17. If they maintain their current winning percentage, they'd finish with the most victories by any club since 1969. When who else but the Baltimore Orioles won 109 games. Like those Orioles, this team also has splendid pitching, easily leading the league with a 3.30 ERA. Tippy Martinez is the latest ace in the bullpen, retiring 39 of 42 batters in one stretch. The Orioles just play their hottest hands, most of which are too hot to handle in the tough American League East. All the same, the Boston Red Sox refuse to be counted out, not as long as they have a fair supply of bats to replace the broken ones. The Sox broke out against the slumping Milwaukee Brewers, who had just been swept by Baltimore. Boston took 4 of 5, and most of the wins were lopsided. In the 5-game series, the Red Sox ran up 68 base hits. Good old-fashioned Boston power also exploded. Bob Watson hit 2 homers in the first game, his 9th and 10th since coming to Boston 7 weeks earlier. And Dwight Evans hit numbers 16 and 17. The pressure of facing Boston's muscle-bound lineup right after Baltimore's crafty pitching seemed too much for the Brew Crew, dropping 7 of the 8 games. But a healthy Carlton Fisk made the Red Sox stronger. In the 5-game series, they scored 47 runs, 19 in 1 game, along with 27 hits, tops in the American League this year. And Carl Yastrzemski, closing in on age 40 and 3,000 hits, seems ready for another down-to-the-wire pennant marathon. Though trailing by 5, the Sox easily have the second-best record in baseball, same as last year. But this year, third baseman Butch Hobson is hitting homers again and getting his arm back on target. Jerry Remy is still injured, but reserves are stronger this year. Stan Pappy at second. And Rick Burleson is again keeping the infield tight at short. Even reliever Bill Campbell seems on the road to recovery. Time still remains for the Red Sox to make 79 their year. For the Cleveland Indians, this may not be the year for contention, but it looks like the Tribe is now staging its best show in some time. As soon as Dave Garcia was named the team's 15th manager in 24 years, obvious signs of improvement could be seen by all Cleveland fans who now view encouraging signs of future pennant contention. Fans know the Indians are 19 games out, but they also know that they're playing a respectable 500 baseball, following a 10-game winning streak. Much like Gunga Din, Indian fans have waited many years in the hot sun to blow the horn of victory. Well, the victories are starting to come around in Cleveland. Dave Garcia was supposed to be merely the interim manager, but now he may have to stick around. Sluggers like Cliff Johnson are helping his cause. Here Johnson shows his power in a victory against the Rangers. And Toby Harrah kept the Indians' winning streak alive by beating the Red Sox in the 11th inning after the Tribe had trailed 10-5 in the 9th. It led to a doubleheader sweep. Sound the bugle, Gunga Din. The Indians may finally be ready to rise again. Now back to this week's Volkswagen quiz, brought to you by the 79 Rabbit, Dasher, and Scirocco. Volkswagen does it again. Pittsburgh Pirates catcher Ed Ott has the shortest name in the major leagues. Granted, his full name is Nathan Edward Ott, but in baseball, he's just Ed Ott, which ought to be good enough, oughtn't it? Next week, Volkswagen will ask you again.
Gillette Track 2, please.
Sold out again. Say, you look like a double-edged man to me. Daring, unafraid.
No, the Gillette Track 2 gives me a more comfortable shave.
Maybe it's an injector you crave. Shaves close.
Yeah, but Track 2 shaves closer.
Yeah, but...
Sorry.
To guys who use a twin-blade Gillette Track 2, no single blade will do.
Gillette Track 2, please.
How do you spell relief? When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief R-O-L-A-I-D-S. Rolaids spells relief. Clinical tests prove with Rolaids you get relief Tums can't beat. That's right, relief Tums can't beat. In fact, relief no other leading antacid can beat. How do you spell relief?
For heartburn, I know. R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Relief no other leading antacid can beat.
Now, a look at some other names which made headlines in the baseball world during the week. Philadelphia's Pete Rose has made headlines throughout his career, and against the Pirates, he made a few more. This was Pete's 2,426th single, tying him with Honus Wagner for the National League record. As a souvenir, Pete was presented the base. Of course, the next day, Rose broke the record. The number now in Pete's mind is 3,630, Stan Musial's record for most total hits by a National Leaguer. Ironically, Pete's Cincinnati replacement, third baseman Ray Knight, also did well the very same week. While the Reds fought to stay near first place Houston, Knight batted .414 with 4 homers and driving in an amazing 18 runs in 7 games. For those impressive figures, Ray Knight is the recipient of this week's Gillette Special. But this was a week that will be remembered primarily for events that transcended the roar of the crowd for present-day accomplishments on the field. In honor of past greatness, baseball's Hall of Fame inducted Warren Giles, for over 50 years, a distinguished Major League executive and former National League president. Hack Wilson, a lifetime .307 hitter, 4-time National League home run king, and holder of both the National League record of 56 homers in a season and the Major League record of 190 RBIs, both set in 1930 with the Chicago Cubs. And the incomparable Willie Mays, a name that conjures countless vivid memories whose scrapbook would make a field guide to many of baseball's grandest years. From all over the nation, fans of Willie Mays came to Cooperstown to witness his induction and to let others know why this one player meant so much.
Willie Mays is the greatest ball player that ever lived, all around.
The most charismatic, the most exciting, the most able to rise to an occasion.
I feel that he is one of the greatest players that ever played the game because he played it with such gusto, with, like he loved it.
I tell you another thing about Willie Mays. He's a great American. That's the best thing.
Yes, right, isn't he?
Willie really needs no embroidery. How do you embellish the unique? How do you paint the lily? You don't. May I present to you Willie Mays.
Laying in bed last night, I said to myself, how can I write a speech? And I came up with one saying, how can you put it on paper? That's my theme. You cannot do it.
And just as words cannot describe the magic that was Willie Mays on the diamond, neither can statistics, though his were most impressive. The giant center fielder had to be seen as fans saw him in the Polo Grounds during his great early years in New York. Millions watched his famous catch in the '54 series, just typical Willie Mays. Later in San Francisco, he assaulted many major career marks, finishing third in lifetime homers, seventh in hits, and seventh in RBIs. He returned to New York, retiring with the Mets, before the fans who could never forget the wonder of what they once saw. Many were there again in Cooperstown to honor number 24, one of the truly great ball players of all time. The Say Hey Kid, Willie Mays. Finally, the tragic death of Thurman Munson, which touched baseball fans everywhere. Captain of the world champion New York Yankees, once an MVP, always a winner. He leaves behind a gap impossible to fill in Yankee Stadium. In his honor, a moment of silence was requested at the Yankees' first game after his death. But the silence did not last. Instead came cheers, cheers that Thurman had so often heard. To this crowd, it was the only way to express such a heartfelt gratitude to the man. A 9-minute standing ovation. Three days later, the Yankees attended the funeral in Canton, Ohio, before playing that night. Bobby Mercer, a close friend who had delivered an inspiring eulogy, struck a 3-run homer in the 7th inning with New York trailing Baltimore 4-0. It was Mercer's first homer since returning to the Yankees. A home run that clearly stirred a ball club emotionally drained. And still trailing 4-3 in the 9th, Mercer knocked in 2 more to win it. Just a ball game, but not without a feeling quite rare. Thurman Munson was loved by his teammates because he never quit. And on this night, neither did the Yankees. That's all for now. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Here's a reminder, it's English leather or nothing at all.
English leather cologne for men.